So Jason Goodman's pastor confirmed to Jason that he is not a Christian. That's unusual.
What?
Is it?
I've never heard that before.
I have definitely never heard it.
Well, as agnostic, we toy with the idea of it could be this, it could be that, it could be Jesus, it could be science, it could be something else. That's how we think all the time. At least I do. It's a whole mind battle 24 hours a day.
Exhausting.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Kind of like a hedging of your bets. Kind of. Could
I
be,
don't
could
know,
not be.
I just don't know. So it's a battle all the time. And sometimes it leans one way a little bit more and leans another way a little bit more. That's how it is. And I've been like this my entire life. Again, my mom was Catholic. My dad was Jewish. When you have parents like that, you're born agnostic.
Yeah, no. Yellow and blue makes green. We get it. Yeah.
Sure. All right.
And if there's one thing that we know, if you are not religious, not a Christian, and you need answers, go to a pastor.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
maybe.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah, but this is different. He's different, unique. Anyways, so when I realized that this kind of is like a near tangent to my life, every time I do something, I'm kind of a lot of it all in, per se.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
We've seen that.
Like, no
Yeah,
matter
I was saying
what
that recently
it
to
is.
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just went to Mexico. And when I went to Mexico, I'm all
God.
in.
Yeah.
More than ever. So I'm all in for 6 days, drinking my face off, don't care what I'm doing, do whatever I want to do.
Resort life, baby.
Yes.
immerse in the culture.
Exactly.
In the resort.
All right.
Right. Yes.
Mira.
Okay.
Anyways,
Are you trying to mira? Look.
I say Meta.
Oh, sure. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
I
Go
say, look
ahead.
here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I was saying that the whole time. I don't know if it comes across rude, by the way. 'Cause I'm like, Meta. And they're like,
That's
look at me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think
Do you
yelling
know
people
what
in any language is not.
It's
is rude.
not.
In that
Yeah,
tone, it's rude.
But
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like. But then,
Mira!
It'll sound right in any language.
but it sounds like that's what they're saying. They don't say like Mita. They go Mita. They say
Okay.
So maybe it's the culture is more aggressive. I don't know. Anyways, so on the last night, I'm flying back, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just in that vibe. And Carol goes to me, by the way, I got tipped off. Jonathan's gonna be there this Sunday in Oak Ridge.
And that's
I'm like-
the pastor.
Yes, I'm like, and you think I want to go?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
in my mind, I'm saying this. I'm like, well, that's nice. He's going to be there in Oak Ridge. I guess most of the people there are going to like that that are going.
Can we just say, for those, if you're not
Yes.
following along or you have not heard this before, the reason you're really excited about Jonathan
yeah.
being there is because you have
He has a
traveling, or they're
He's just there's 2 locations, and he's typically based in Kernersville at the Summit.
Okay.
So anyways, he's very good. Because I've been there. The way he talks, the way he does things, religious or not, he just has a unique presentation, a great speaker. He's unbelievable what he brings up and looks at things differently.
and he's not always at that exact location
No,
every week.
usually in Oak Ridge, a lot of times there's a huge screen that comes down after the local stuff, and then he's on live from Oak Ridge.
Got it. Okay.
3 times a Sunday or whatever it is. Anyway, so I was like, oh, this guy is good. But I was like, I'm just in Mexico mode still. I'm like,
You
church.
just left at like
Yes.
Satan's paradise.
Yeah. I'm like, church, why was I even going in the first place? That's what I was thinking.
That must have been a real good vacation.
What a waste of my time.
Exactly.
All the tides you've been wasting, you could have spent on more Mexico trips.
That dude ain't paying tithes.
So anyways, Carol's like, well, I'm just letting you know that I'm going to have to go there because I volunteered to greet people at the door. I'm like, oh, gosh.
Wow.
Can I say
Are we
something?
heading down this path?
I don't want to divert it too much. Carol is so nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think someone with RBF should be greeting anyone at church.
Oh.
And I'm saying that Carol has always been nice to me.
You have now offended Matt.
No, Matt.
No, I've never
also
thought of it
not
that
be
way.
greeting people in church.
Yeah.
I've never thought of it that way. You're
Katie,
probably right.
even though might say trash about you when you walk away, Katie would be a great greeter.
Yeah.
Squid would be a great
Yeah.
greeter. I'd be an okay greeter. I'd be okay. But Squid would be like, yeah, let's go. God, let's go.
Get in there.
worship.
Yeah, I could be a greeter.
And Katie would be, oh, so good. Oh, I'm so happy to see you.
Welcome.
Walk
How's
by,
your family?
be like, that'd be,
Maybe. Maybe.
But
That's who
you'd
you
be a
are.
very good greeter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not-
It's kind of backhanded, but it's
Not
fine. I'll
Carol.
take it.
No, you're very good with people. But and Carol is nothing but nice to me to my face. I know behind my back's probably different. But RBF, I cannot see her greeting people.
Yeah.
Welcome to church.
Yeah.
Here's your program.
Go sit down. but I think it's great that she's volunteering
I
and
love that.
she is active. So that's
Yeah.
a great thing.
Yeah.
So when you're a volunteer, you have to leave earlier.
Yep.
And I'm like, Everly's going. Everly loves it. So she goes to the little kids thing, and apparently she wants to go early with mom. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to feel guilty now if I don't go, because then Carol's going to have to sit by herself, because when you volunteer, you don't sit with all the people and all the neighbors and all the people you know.
Oh.
You just because you have to do it, then it starts, and then you kind of go in the back door, and there's a section for you because you're
see.
the first ones to leave also, because you have to say goodbye to everybody.
Sure.
I see.
too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm
Got
like,
it.
so the whole time I'm like tormenting to myself. I'm like, gosh, I'll go, because I feel as though, I don't want to leave Carol hanging, right?
Okay, so the guilt you're feeling is because of Carol, not
And
because
in the back of my mind, I'm like, and Jonathan's going to be there too. But
See?
By the way, if you're newer to the show, at one point Jason panicked in an email to him and said, "You're my Taylor Swift."
that, what's that?
Weird celebrity crush.
Yeah, it's like, and it's his local pastor.
So
that's so weird.
in my mind, it's like Jonathan's pushing through, and I'm pushing back the other way, and it's pushing back. I'm trying to push back to Mexico this way, and Jonathan's pushing back this way.
It's like the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other
Yes.
shoulder. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Pastor Jonathan has no idea that
Yeah.
this is happening in your head.
He's innocent.
But I know now that he's going to be in Oak Ridge, and I got tipped off, because now that Carol volunteers, we have the little tip-off hookup that I got before.
Got it.
So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go at the last second, because I don't want to be talking to anybody. So
Yeah. Why do that at church?
I
why
literally-
fellowship with anyone?
No.
I kind of
I know
understand.
Katie's
it.
the same way. She's like, "Don't talk to me at church." I'm like, "Well, that's kind of part of
No,
it."
mine's like the peace be with you. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
There's three, what do you call them, services.
Mhm.
I went to the last one. At 10:59 and 30 seconds, I run through the door and I go right in and sit down. I grab my coffee first and then sit down
Right.
at the end by myself, because Carol's still greeting, all by myself. So, because this is my fear. Now people are like, oh, Jason Goodman's there by himself. It's so important. I'm like, I don't want that image.
He must be super Christian.
Yeah. Or they think you and Carol aren't together anymore. I mean,
That could be.
although she's
Yeah.
greeting people, so
Yeah.
maybe not.
I walk in, I go in there, and I know my boy Jonathan's going to be coming up soon.
My boy.
And I was like,
My
okay,
dog.
here we go. So anyways, the music plays, and this kind of the same.
He's got his own walk-up music.
no. It's like they play a couple Christian songs to
Sure.
begin with,
Oh.
which I really like. But sometimes it's different. They might do 2, they might do 3. Depends on the whole
They
thing.
have the smoke machine.
There are
and the
lights and
laser
all
lights.
that.
Laser
and,
lights.
yes,
and then everybody's
uh-huh.
standing up
And Pastor
singing.
Jonathan comes out. Welcome to the stage, all the way from Kernersville.
You've seen him on the screen. Now see him in person.
Live.
I will say,
From a pulpit near you.
I will say, shockingly, because when he comes to Oak Ridge, it's a surprise. So when
Not to you,
Not for
man.
Carol.
no, when he comes in, he goes up on the stage, and the lights come in. You kind of don't even see him come in, but I can tell, because I'm like, okay, they got to do things differently. Now they have to broadcast back to Kernersville.
He comes like lowering down on some sort of string mechanism, like ropes.
Right. Or the stage opens and he like
Shoots out. From the
shoots
stage.
out from the bottom of the stage like
The
Kevin Hart.
number
did.
one pastor.
He comes flying over everybody doing aerial tricks.
That would actually be
Time to repent.
that would be a good setup there.
Yeah.
It would.
Ironically-
On a zip line.
A smoke machine.
Anyway, sorry.
No, ironically, when he did come up on stage, the lights come on, and I think people sometimes are a little shocked that he's, because it used to the last 3 or 4 weeks of the screen.
The crappy pastors.
Immediately, no,
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
immediately the whole place collapsed. Shockingly, I've never heard that, and I'm like, more than usual, like, because he's been on a roll, and I'm like, so I asked Jared, I'm like, Jared, do people clap all of a sudden when the pastor comes up?
No.
I've never. They were all clapping when they were there, like they were so excited. I couldn't
Okay.
believe it myself, and I was like, I started clapping. I couldn't believe it. Like, he literally gets an applause.
That's weird.
And he's for the record, believe it or not, except on stage, he's a very almost not timid, but
Very
what's the
humble.
opposite, like what Joe Davis is?
Introverted.
Yeah. It's the guy that works here downstairs.
Is that a bad thing?
No, it's not.
It's just
just
it's so
funny.
random.
It's a funny
Caught us so off guard.
It's true though. Introverted.
What's that thing that
Introverted,
Joe
yeah.
Davis is?
He's happy being by himself.
Very friendly, very kind. Every
Yes.
time you talk to him, personable, but quieter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quieter, sure.
Except on stage,
Yeah.
everything else is, I think, introverted.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. So he starts his thing, the service.
Sermon.
whatever it is.
Sermon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sermon, whatever. And
Yeah.
it's very good. It's very informative. It's called As If series. The As If. He's always a series, As If series. And
Okay.
stuff. He incorporates real things and all this other stuff. But this it was a little bit different. He says, on the stage, he goes, oh, a lot of people like to say they're Christian, but are you? And I'm like, I don't know. I've been toying with that idea. I don't know what I am.
Is he
Jason-
talking to me?
Jason audibly says no from the back row. Nope.
Can't trick me.
And I don't want any of y'all thinking I am either.
Like it's rhetorical. You're like, I
What
don't know
are
what that
the
means.
pros? What are the pros? I don't know.
Anyways, he starts going off in the sermon about how that a lot of people just say they're a Christian because I go to church. I'm Christian. I believe in Jesus. I'm Christian. But he says way more than that. I'm like, He goes, you actually have to, in his belief or the church's belief, I guess that's what it is. I don't know what to say because your church might be different. No offense to you if it isn't. He's like, you actually, to be a Christian and a follower of Jesus, you have to do these things in life and follow life and do things in life as if you're doing it for God, the glory of God.
You live it. You have
You
to live
actually
it.
have to do those things. I'm like, okay. Then he starts naming off things that people do. And one of the things he says, he goes up and does this whole thing, and he goes, what you should do is, and there's a screen up there, it says, this is the statement. He goes, how should I blank as if it's for even to Jesus? So he starts going off like, how should I, go here as if he's basically saying everything you do should do if the way of what Jesus would want you to do, like
Right.
follow it.
Mhm.
And he starts naming everything, and I'm like, this is not me. Like, I can't do this. How do I go to the strip club for the glory of Jesus? That makes
You
no
don't.
sense.
Yeah,
How do
no.
I party in Mexico on top of the bar dancing for the glory of Jesus? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he's going on and on. I'm like, I'm too manipulative.
You're too sinful.
Too manipulative.
You're sinful.
You just told me 3 months ago that God forgives everything, and I've been living my life like, well, if I do it, don't worry about it. God forgives me.
He'll forgive me later.
He's like, but then he's like, you don't have to be Christian for God to forgive you and be a part of you. Even if you're not Christian, he's always a part of you. But to say you're a Christian, these are the things. So I'm like, it's not me. That is not me. Now, I believe in the ideas and the
principles.
the principles of the religion, and I always have, because it's if everybody followed what they're preaching and saying, life would be
The world would be
1,000 times better.
It's like good moral living.
It'd be a
Just
perfect,
good morals.
The world
Yeah.
would be perfect.
I'm not capable. I am not capable. I try. I can try on some of them, but that's not enough. So that's what I've come to the realization that now I am believing in the ideas and the morale of Christianity and what he's preaching. There's no way that I can do that. I don't want to live my life like that. It's too much fun the other way.
You don't want to give up the strip clubs.
No.
You don't want to
Yeah.
give up the drinking.
Temptation.
the
Well,
Tentacion.
I don't think drinking's the sin,
I
but
mean, like the
Like
dancing on the tabletops,
yeah.
going to the
yes, because
Yeah.
what's going to happen is I don't know. Let's say I'm going somewhere at a casino, and I'm going to start doing something maybe I shouldn't, like gamble. I don't know if that's even a sin or not, but it's like now I have to think, would this be what Jesus wants? So I'm like, I don't want to do that because it's not fun. I want to live my life.
This
So
is a great message for the kids.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it because it's not fun.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this: being there and listening to what he has to say and all about makes me look at things differently, and I try to be kinder to people. I try to. So
That's good.
there's some things. There's no way I can be a Christian because you have to do all those.
Well, I
things.
think you may have taken it a little bit wrong.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think-
He
yeah.
said
It's not expecting
everything.
you to be perfect, but there are expectations, but you just try to do the best you can.
And for all have sinned and fall short of the glory.
Yeah, exactly.
So preach it, Pastor Matt.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
He's certified online.
That's right.
That's right.
Anyways, that's what happened. So I'm like, okay, I feel good now. he's confirmed to me that I'm
I don't think
agnostic.
that's his message.
He did not say. I don't think that was
so.
his goal.
No.
When I say this is going to make people not believe.
So at the end of the entire thing, he did mention, he was saying some really funny things at the end. He does that little pray thing at the end. And then he's like, on the way out, you're going to get this card. And it's a quote to remind you each day you can put, and it was being kind of funny. He was like, you can put it on your car dashboard. You can put it up in the morning. It's like, so whatever you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the for the glory of God. So I'm like, it's to remind you to do the good things, right? So he's like, yeah. So like, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, I just can't stick. And then you look at it like, oh, no, I love you, babe. Or he's like, when you're driving and somebody cuts you off, remind you to wave with all 4 fingers instead of
It's not just
right,
one.
right, right.
So I'm like, okay, that's a good message. So I get the card and I get out there, and the first thing I see is one of my neighbors, and I'm like, yep, this got confirmed. I am not a Christian.
He's like, you're like celebrating it.
Want to let everybody know.
Right? Then he starts talking to the whole group, the neighbor, and he's like, yeah, I'm trying to play pickleball today. I'm like, I can play pickleball today. If we have enough people, I can get Lynn. And he was like, well, Davin can't play, his one son. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, what about Brett? He's like, oh, no, I'm not going to deal with Brett today. So I take the card. I'm like, here you go. And I show him the card.
Oh, boy.
You remind him.
Yes, I remind
You were spreading
him.
the good word,
Yes, you were.
just like a Christian.
He
Wow.
says he's a Christian. Really? I'm confirmed that I'm not, and I have to present this card to you and show you the quote that you just did not hear what he just said.
You're like a missionary.
Yeah.
Elder Goodman.
So
Yeah.
anyways, we're talking. I'm leaving. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave. Run into Jonathan on the way out.
Oh, no.
Naturally.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, boy, I'm going to keep it cool. And I always try to keep it cool. I'm like, hey.
What
sure
embarrassing
that's exactly
thing
what you
am I
did.
going to do now?
I love you so much.
Will you have my babies? You're like,
I
wait,
like
what?
turtles.
Jason just said, I always try to keep it cool. You have not been cool once.
Not with him.
Nothing you do with him is cool.
Keyword, try.
I used your card for someone.
But I'm like, I wasn't going to even mention this because I'm like, this is getting so ridiculous. It's almost not believable. Something always happens. And it almost didn't. And I was so close for it not to happen. And we had a great conversation. I was just telling him. Oh, and Carol came up. And I'm like, this is my wife, Carol. He's never met her one-on-one. And this is my daughter, Everly. And I'm like, oh, please don't have the RBF on for him. And then everything's great. And then another person comes, and I take out the card because I was going to say how great this card was. I had to show it. But somebody else came and kind of grabbed them and was like, hey, Pastor Jonathan, and started talking. And it sounded like I said, hey, you need this card. And I show him the card. And he looks at me and turns, and I kind of messed up my words.
Oh.
And he's like, oh, yeah, right. I need the card. Like, I'm not a Christian. Something like that. So now I'm like, no, that's not what. And they went off talking to somebody else. So now he thinks that I told him that I don't need this card.
You do.
Take it back.
You need the card.
I don't want this
You need
stupid card.
And he looked at me funny about it. I'm like, I can't believe this just happened. Why? Why did I go? And we left.
All right. Will you be going back?
Man.
Well, I guess I will because I like the idea and the principles of it and world and everything would be great and better. And I just cannot commit to being good like that so much.
Nobody is perfect.
Yeah.
But it's too good. I'm already pre-planning the non-good. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I do get that.
You know what I'm saying? It's
I
like-
do understand that.
How-
Yes.
I cannot.
Right.
I
I
cannot do
understand
that. I am in my mind. I already know things that I want to do. I'm sure threesome's not on the list.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Or maybe it is. Are we doing it for the God? No, I can't because
No, it's not.
I can do that. I can fill in the blank.
Jason,
No.
read the Bible until you find it where it talks about that.
How should
there are
I do a threesome as if it's in 4 and even to Jesus? That doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
There.
definitely don't say that. I mean, there was polygamy all throughout the Bible.
Yeah,
so-
that's true.
But that's you have to get married and all that.
Wow.
There was one woman who was married to 7 different brothers at
Yeah.
one point.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you can do that if you want.
We'll see.
I mean, at different times.
Right.
And none of them were fruitful,
But
but
part
still.
of me,
Right,
the way
right.
it was, with everything that was going on, even questions, if you think about it, everybody. See the hypocrisy here? I could question you two
You do all the
as
time.
being
Yeah,
Christians.
you do.
right.
You know,
But
I'm
I
just saying
also
the thing-
don't pretend to walk around being holier than thou and better than everybody and a perfect person.
Right,
We're
but
all
the way you're supposed
flawed.
to treat other people and how mean you are to me does not line up with the
Yes.
statement of how
There's a
should I
difference.
treat Jason Goodman as if it's not at 4 and even to Jesus.
I didn't say I was perfect.
No, none of us are.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's a lot.
Yeah, but
It is a lot.
I'm meaner to you in here on the air than I am in real life.
Not behind my back.
That's not true. That's not true. And if it's behind your back, how would you know?
Because I know. I can feel it. That's some evidence there.
We
I
all
can feel
know.
it.
We all
There's
know.
an energy.
Listen, I'm just asking. Please don't start pulling that card out here at work.
Yeah. I
Don't
don't.
mid-show be like, you
I was-
Jesus would say.
I was a missionary for 2 years for my church, and I've not brought and pulled out any material here at
pamphlets.
church.
Yes.
Unless somebody asked for one.
I'm not supposed to pull it out and give it to you because it's not. It's about for me.
For
to,
your reminder.
So the next time Katie is mean to me, I'm supposed to look at the card and respond back with kindness. How is that possible?
Jason, you have your own tools,
Yes.
and then I have mine.
Right.
I have my own things that remind me to try to be a better person.
well, you might have
Everywhere.
to change it because it's not working out.
You don't get to judge me. You don't get to judge.
Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to do that. I forgot.
Yeah.
it's
I
hard-
cannot judge. Oh,
Read
yeah,
the card.
Thank you,
Read
Katie.
the card.
Read the card.
Read the card. Well, I mean, you think about this, though. Like, you want to be the best, maybe, possible employee. You're never going to be a perfect employee, so
No.
that doesn't mean you just give up.
No.
No, you just try to do the best. You're going to screw up some days. You're going to send a stupid email, or you're going to forget to do something.
And I get that, but if forgetting to send an email is after the fact, it's not pre-planning going in saying, I'm going to get tore up tonight at this nightclub.
Or we come into work the day like, I'm not into it today. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to take it easy. I mean, I wouldn't give up because you're not perfect, because then everyone would give up.
But here's the thing. I'm not giving up anything. I just don't need the label. I don't need any label, really. I
Oh, we're
just
going to label you.
I could just believe what I want to believe, just like marriage. I really don't think marriage is necessarily needed the label. If you love somebody, you're in love with somebody, you could be with them forever.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And you're not actively walking around or with your actions trying to hurt people.
Well,
I
sometimes.
don't know about that.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But the good
Never
news
mind.
is,
Scratch that from the record.
That is he.
the good news is I try less.
That's good.
I
Yeah.
acknowledge
It's an
it. I'm
improvement.
like, well, that's kind of cruel to Jared, even though he did that.
Uh-huh.
Even though Katie said that to me, I'm not going to respond back in a
Why are we
derogatory.
the only
I don't
two?
know.
I mean, Squid's never hurt your feelings. Matt's never upset
Sometimes.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Squid gives me props sometimes. Matt, yeah, he's a trouble.
I give you props all the time.
Huh?
We've given you props.
No, I mean like
Yeah.
Special things. That's
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the special things.
Okay.
Got it.
But
Well, that's
it.
fine if y'all want to do that.
Me and Jason have a picture in front of him on his mic pole
That is
to
true.
calm him down in times of
Yes.
mic
anger.
pole.
and
You're
strife.
his card.
Yes, it's from the Christmas
There
party.
really
yeah.
is a picture of Squid and Jason.
We
on
have
his mic
cameras
pole.
in studio. We have a mic pole. Anyway.
Yeah.
So there's a.
It really is.
I've
hilarious.
never noticed that.
He looks at it in times of trouble.
Oh, there's my boy Squid. All right.
WWSD. What would Squid do?
Oh my.
Well, good luck with everything.